Hey guys, it's your favorite Dinobot here, and today we're going to be scaling Drago from Bakugan. Now, fair warning, there's going to be a whole lot of the word infinite. So let's start with the scaling. Drago should easily scale above the likes of the Ancient Six and several layers of infinity. Yes, I do mean several and possibly even more. This is due to the fact that in the first season, going off by his ultimate Dragonoid form, he would scale above Alpha Hydronoid and Naga. Naga, being in possession of the Silent Core, was able to exist outside of the Bakugan universes. There were 6 universes, and he was able to combine these 6 universes with our universe. This means that Naga displays multiversal category, okay? Multiversal levels of power. Drago would then go on to being able to take the Infinity Core, which is a core described as infinite and immeasurable power. He takes that core, getting all the attributes, all the elements, and being able to fight against Naga, defeating him. Now, in terms of Hydronoid, how strong is Alpha Hydronoid? Now, believe it or not, Alpha Hydronoid is actually nerfed in the Bakugan series, and this is due to this one line he says in the first season, where he's supposed to feed on the Bakugan that are sent to the Doom Dimension. This means that he has a connection to, well, the Doom Dimension. And you might say, why is he nerfed? And don't worry, I'll get into that in a little bit here. This is because Hydronoid is able to send these Bakugan to the Doom Dimension, and they're able to give him a lot more power, gaining more and more power as he grows, causing him to evolve. And he's one of the few Bakugan that Naga was legit afraid of, was even more scared of him than Infinite Dragonoid. He later goes on to surpass Infinite Dragonoid, and then Drago goes on to further surpass him when he gets his boost from the Ancient Six, Pyrus, Skyfather, Apollinaire. But we're gonna get into that in a little bit. Let's talk about Hydronoid here. His connection to the Doom Dimension, right? The Doom Dimension is a whole nother universe that's pretty much, you know, this like hell for like Bakugan that are in it here. It's this interdimensional hell, if you will. But it contains a lot more. The thing is, the Doom Dimension contains the time stream itself, meaning that the Bakugan are capable of traveling through time and space to get to eras where they need to, or to get from different points from point A to point B in certain timelines. This is also where the Nonets were trapped for thousands of years. Hydronoid gaining access to this dimension should have been in the same level as Fusion Dragonoid. However, if we had that, Dan would have never been able to beat Masquerade and Hydronoid at all. So therefore, Hydronoid was nerfed due to the fact that if you do the scaling and you do the actual math here, the fact that Hydronoid had the Nonets, a group of Bakugan that are capable of fighting against Fusion Dragonoid fused with Reptach, who surpasses several layers of infinity. This means that Hydronoid should have been the strongest Bakugan in existence, almost up there with the creators of it. And then Hydronoid goes on to get stronger to surpass Spinning Dragonoid, who also had the power of the Infinity Core. Let's talk about that, right? And this is where Drago pretty much begins to surpass Hydronoid in a small capacity here. He's able to use the Infinity Core, meaning he's able to bend infinite energy, and later he goes to acquire a boost from Apollinaire, turning him into, I believe, Luminous Dragonoid, which would surpass Maximus Helios, which had surpassed the Infinity Core itself, and would put him in the same levels as Alpha Hydronoid via, you know, the weapons, tech, and abilities he has here. And Drago then later goes on to become Helix Dragonoid, and this gives Drago another layer to surpass Infinity, and surpassing Helios, who is pretty much above the Ancient Six due to fighting the Farbros ship itself. Now, Farbros is a mechanical Bakugan that was specifically made by the Bakugan, I think the Vexos, by the Vexos themselves, to actually fight against the Ancient Six. Now, the Ancient Six, or the 6 legendary soldiers, right, are basically the Sky Fathers of Bakugan. Basically, they're way beyond the normal levels of Bakugan, and they exist outside of the Bakugan multiverse. They're basically, they exist on such a higher level of plane of existence here that they can sit inside of voids. Okay, they can move between dimensions that are supposed to be inaccessible to other Bakugan throughout other means. They're beyond the Infinity Core, and it's very likely they're beyond Naga and a lot of characters as well, even being beyond the Infinity Core. So these guys would add another layer of infinity to Drago's power. This will put Drago again at a multiversal caliber, stacking it with another multiversal caliber. And considering they're existing outside of the time and space of their Bakugan dimension, which is supposed to be beyond our dimension, that means this could lead into at least several layers into a either hyperversal or outerversal layer. This includes the fact that Apollinaire is able to combine the powers of his other brethren and himself into a singular blast. Yet Farbro surpasses this. Now we're going to take a little break from the scaling and actually get into the hacks and abilities here. Drago possesses energy manipulation and pyrokinesis. This is due to him being a Pyrus Bakugan, which means fire, and he's able to use this along with cosmic energy as well as being able to actually bend the Infinity Core. It's actually stated that in the second season of Bakugan, he was meant to actually wield the power of the Infinity Core and all the elements, but due to the fact that Spectra kind of messed him up, he wasn't able to do it properly. So that actually kind of gives you the potential that he's able to bend infinite power like it's nothing. He also possesses battle gear. Battle gear and Bakugan and nanotech that are pretty much akin to a Bakugan's DNA system. This means that he's able to use these weapons and fire them in all sorts of ways, even using Bakugan vehicles that actually give him a boost in combat and mobility as well. These vehicles would scale probably above his speed. Drago is easily many times faster than the speed of light to immeasurable speed due to not only the scaling, but due to the fact that he's able to fight against and defeat Ventus and Chaos Bakugan, who are many times faster than the speed of light. The battle gear would also scale to his attack potency, if not surpass it, considering he's combining his energies with the battle gears, being able to fully boost it and defeat Bakugan with their own battle gear and have the same mechanics as Drago. So Drago would yet again be able to, it's kind of like how, you know, transform, remember my Optimus Prime video where he's able to power link with other Transformers? Yeah, so basically that to a much, I guess you could say to a much lesser extent. However, Drago is able to fuse with certain Bakugan. He's able to fuse with Talion, Helios, a Darkest Infinity Helios, which would have surpassed his previous incarnations as well, because at this time he was Titanium Dragonoid, so he would basically surpass at least, oh geez, he'll probably pass like several layers of infinity as well here. But yeah, he's able to use this battle gear and nanomachines in these mech suits here to basically boost him, and he's able to summon them pretty much via his own will, as they're pretty much akin to the Bakugan itself. So let's go into the next one, and this would be his scaling to above Code Eve. Code Eve is a sentient power source stronger than that of the Infinity Core. Okay, it's actually been around longer than the Infinity Core and is one of the few Genesis to have birthed the Bakugan. All right, it's even considerably in the same category as its masters, Genesis Dragonoid and Genesis Dragonoid. Okay, which Darak and Drago basically are. They're pretty much direct descendants of these these first two Bakugan, which created all the other Bakugan. So with these two, right, with these two powerful beings here, let's really talk about Darak. Darak actually possesses infinite power that should surpass all of Drago's previous incarnations, all of Drago's battle gear as well stacked on top of it, and will surpass Drago with Apollinaire's boost plus the Infinity Core stacked on top of it. This is multiple layers into infinity. This even surpasses the likes of the Ancient Six, which is again another layer of infinity and infinite power stacked on top of it. So you have so many multiversal level characters. You have Naga, you have Apollinaire, Exedra, the rest of the, Ancient Six. You have Farbros, Helios, and then you have the unnerfed, yes, I'm using the unnerfed version of Hydronoid, which would basically surpass Fusion Dragonoid. Or let's dumb it down and let's say the known were in a part that Hydronoid did not have access to. This would still put Hydronoid at a multiversal caliber above the Drago that was boosted by Apollinaire. Okay, so this means that Dragonoid, once he got his Blitz form, was basically hyperversal, or at least, if we really, not even hyperversal, he would actually be outerversal just by the math alone. We then go on to Bakugan Mechanium Surge, right? Where we had the Mechtagon scaling. The Mechtagon are basically supposed to be stronger than the Bakugan. However, there is a Bakugan named Razonoid. Razonoid is basically a stronger version of Darak that competes with Titanium Dragonoid, who is above Blitz Dragonoid. So now you have another layer into the Outerversal caliber. I might even say several layers into Outerversal. It's absolutely blasphemy that Drago is actually that strong. It's ridiculous. He's not only able to beat Razonoid, okay? He's not only able to, match Razonoid, he's eventually able to defeat him and is able to pretty much surpass his own Mechtagon with Razonoids on top of it, with them sacrificing themselves and their energies fusing, Razonoid absorbing that energy, and then Drago tanking that explosion and saving Dan, his best friend, his human best friend, in the process. All right? But let's talk about the other scaling here, and that's Mectavius Destroyer. Mectavius Destroyer is above all these other Bakugan at this point. Above Hydronoid, above the Ancient Six, above Darkest Infinity Helios, above Talion, above Ingram, above everyone who has all these layers into this hyperversal caliber. And the few remaining Bakugan were able to stand up to him. And then eventually Drago gains his own Mechtagon, or at least another one named, I think, Dragonoid Destroyer. Okay? And he's able to not only use Dragonoid Destroyer to finally put an end to Mectavius Destroyer, but save the Bakugan in general. So you have, it's absolutely ridiculous when you consider this as well. So let's really think about this, right? Drago surpasses so many, and I mean many layers into infinity itself. He surpasses infinity. He surpasses time and space, reality itself. He surpasses the beings that sit outside of it, that can manipulate, that can access dimensions nobody else should have any business to. He surpasses so many layers into this caliber. He surpasses multiversal plus too many times throughout this series that, in my very conclusion, Drago might be sitting in a caliber of probably basically high outerversal here, if not going extremely, possibly a tad bit, I could say a tad bit further, but I really don't think so. But Drago definitely sits at the higher end of hyperversal. But if you had to give me a number, I would probably say several layers into it. But let me know what you guys think down below. Please comment, like, and subscribe, and share with your friends. This is Legendary Grimlock, and I hope you guys have a blessed day. Peace.